the testing you are doing. In case of functional testing, the testing you are doing with the respective of GUI. Meaning of GUI? Graphical user interface. For example, you done with our adapting project. You got an URL. You are taking that URL. Once you enter the URL, you are able to see that application is visible. And then you are continue the testing. Even HRMS application, you are entering with the URL. The application is visible. You are continued. You have been continued with that particular one, right? So which you have been continued in taking with this particular respective testing. Functional testing with the respective of GUI. You are taking care about doing with the testing or testing particular functionality with the respective of GUI. And then we got non-functional testing. When you are saying that non-functional testing, you will not be having GUI. When we are saying that non-functional testing, there is no concept of GUI. Consider API testing. Meaning of API? Application Programming Interface. See the name here. That API, which is clearly saying that it's related to application only, but not like GUI interface, not like graphical user interface, which is saying that programming interface, which is mentioning that the programming interface here. So that is what we are saying, that API. So meaning of API? Application Programming Interface. You are testing the application only, but that application you are testing with the help of programming interface. As simple, the main difference between functional testing and then taking with non-functional testing. The main difference between functional testing and then taking with non-functional testing. The difference is functional testing, doing with the testing with the respective of GUI. That means graphical user interface. Non-functional testing, there is no concept of GUI. So that is how you are considering that non-functional, not like with the respective of functionality. There is no concept of GUI here. Okay. Now, in this, first we need to get understand that what exactly the concept of API. Okay. Right. So what is the meaning of API testing? How we need to perform API testing, that we'll understand. But before that, we need to get comfortable in understanding the concept of API. In simple, we are saying that meaning of API, what we are mentioning? Application Programming Interface. That is a general form, that is a full form of API. But what exactly the concept of API? Why API has been came into the picture? If we look into our previous market, like before 5 years or 8 years, there is no concept of API. So last from 5 years, nowadays, most of the time, we have been using with the terminology of API. What exactly mean by that, and why it has been came into the picture. Let's see that. Let's look into that. For that, the simple understanding, very simple understanding, you guys has been very well knowing about Google Map. Knowing it? Google Map. What is the use of that? Use of the Google Map. Identifying location, right? To identify particular location, you will be taking with Google Map here. Okay. And apart from that, you guys has been very well knowing about some of the application. I mean, related to the cab. I mean, related to the cab services. If we look into the applications related to cab services, what are the applications we got? What are the applications we got? Which you will be taking with? Taking with this particular one, Uber, sorry, which you will be taking with Ola and then Rapido. So a lot of apps are there. Nowadays, you will be able to see that taking that Ola, Uber, Rubber, lot of apps are available here, right? I mean, a number of apps are available related to this particular cab services. This part, we are very well knowing it. Apart from that, nowadays, you are having your favorite apps also. What is your favorite apps? Taking this particular online food order here. So if you take with this particular online food order, so that you will be considering that taking that Swiggy, having that Zomato, lot of apps are available here, right? So if we get considering that these particular apps, there are a number of apps are available in the market. Okay, fine. Now, see the understanding, a very simple understanding. When you compare this particular Google Map and taking these particular cab service and these particular online food order, if we compare these apps with the Google Map, which one has been introduced first? Is it Google Map has been came first or this online food orders has been came first? Which one has been introduced first? What is it? Google Map here. Google Map is the one of the first product and at the same time, one of the most successful product here, right? So if we just compare these particular things, Google Map has been introduced first in the market. And after that, lot of other activities has been came into the picture. Okay. Now, see the understanding. Assume that you want to get start the business of this cab service. If you want to get start the business of cab service, mainly what you require? You want to start that business of cab service, what you require? Car is required, but very perfect. After that, driver is required, very perfect. After that, petrol is required. License, okay. After that, customer, okay. Insurance, okay. All these things are available. Map is not available. Then can we do that? No, right? So if you want to get start with taking with this particular cab service business, first activity The cab, that vehicle driver obviously will get it. But the main important thing is that software, that particular map has been required. That is what one of the main thing required to get started the business of cab service. Similar to that, if we take with this particular online food order also, what is the main part we required? That particular map has been required. Assume that the restaurant is available, persons are available, vehicle is available, but he doesn't know the map. If he doesn't know with the location, we cannot go with in doing that particular respective business here, right? So as simple, consider that to get go with the scab business or taking with this particular online food order, the one of the important one, we are saying that map has been required. Either it has been Google Map or not, that is a different part. But first activity, map has been required. Okay. Now, consider that this particular map in general, if we take with the Google map, what is the main purpose of the Google map? Identifying the location. On which basis the Google map is working? Software. If we take with the Google map, it is giving the location. How that Google map is knowing that location information? Satellite. The main target is, so we have a concept of the satellite. So with the help of the software, the request is going to that satellite, we are getting with the response. So that is how it is able to give all the required information. That means that map looks like in a very small software, just you will be installing in a mobile. But behind of that, they have been taking care about lot of activities, taking care about having with the communication to the satellite and then getting with the responses. Lot of activities they are doing it. That means having the software of map, which is not like in a very small thing here. Because of that, nowadays, if we look into this market, always you are able to see this Google map only. Apart from the Google map, for now, do you have any other alternative option? No, we don't have any other alternative option. Always we are taking with the help of this particular Google map only. Now, consider this Uber or Ola or this Swiggy, whatever it can be. These companies, if they want to come up with their own particular map, in case if those guys want to design their own particular map, which it will be taking with lot of time consuming. Not only time consuming, they have to invest lot of budget also, because they have to recruit the resources, they have to think about algorithm, they have to think about the logic, they have to make development, they have to take the testing, and they have to take enhancement. Lot of activities they have to do it, which is considering that an extra work for this all these companies here. Because of that, what these companies has been doing, what exactly these companies has been doing is they have been approaching Google team. These companies, they have been approaching Google team, and then they are asking about these people has been approaching the Google team, and then they are asking about, they have been discussing about to get provide service of the Google Map. See the concept. See the concept. These people, they are not purchasing the whole product of Google Map. These people are not purchasing the whole product of the Google Map. These people has been asking that, taking with the discussion with the Google team in providing with service only. I mean, they are discussing the Google team saying that, so Google team, we doesn't require your whole product. Whatever the logic you written, whatever the code you written, whatever the features you will provide, whatever the enhancements you will do, all those things you are taking care of it. We just required service of the Google Map here. That is what exactly we required. So by that, see the business, how the business has been done here. Now, these particular companies, is that they are purchasing the whole product of Google Map? Is that they are purchasing the whole product of Google Map? No, as they are not purchasing the whole product of the Google Map, they can pay very less amount to the Google team. That will become an advantage for that companies. Consider Google team. Is that Google team is selling the whole product? No, just they are giving the service only. Whatever the logic they written, whatever the code written, whatever the technology, they are maintaining. That means their logic, their algorithms are safe only. So by that, they can come up with all the enhancement that will give an advantage of Google team also, which has been taking care about like in a mutual business here. I mean, as simple as, rather than purchasing the whole product of Google Map, they are asking that in providing service of the Google Map. That kind of possibilities are there in the current market. Very starting days of IT, we can mention all the projects are one tier architecture. All the projects are one tier architecture, no internet at all. Once internet came into the picture, two tier architecture. Now we have three tier architecture and then entire architecture. In a very starting days of IT market, at the time of one tier architecture, two tier architecture, there is no possibility of to just provide the service. It's mandatory that need to be get purchase the whole software here. If we look into the previous market, in a very starting days of IT, there is no concept of this utilizing only service. It's mandatory that need to be get purchase the whole product here. So that is how the previous market. What is that one tier, two tier, three tier? You will understand on it. So we'll discuss about in a very detail. For now, your first understanding according to the current technology and the current market, the people has been started utilizing service rather than purchasing the whole product. They are just utilizing the service rather than purchasing the whole product. But that particular service, how they need to provide, service. It's not like in hardware, right? In case of hardware, manually, the persons will provide that service. But this is in a software. How the service has been provided from the software or for the software. For that, taking with the help of web. For that, which you will be taking with the help of web. In general, The meaning of web. If I'm taking with the web, the meaning of web. The general meaning of web. Internet. The meaning of the web. Internet. In a very starting days, the terminology of internet we used to be considered as a web. After that, slowly it has been always using the concept of internet. That is how you are able to see, consider that web applications and then Windows applications. The one we are saying web applications, another one Windows applications. Meaning of web applications? Meaning of web applications. That is what we mentioned yesterday. Meaning of web applications. Any application running on browser. I mean, opening from browser, running on browser. So that browser, internet here. So the meaning of web, considering that internet. So here, that is how you got the terminology. That is how you got the terminology. What is the terminology got? What is the terminology got? Web service. That is what your concept of API here. So we can consider that web service or you can consider that API. Meaning of API? Meaning of API? Application programming interface. Now we can understand the clear understanding. See here, if we get look into that application, these two are different application, taking one programming as one interface here. They are taking one interface in connecting with two different applications. So that is how the terminology has been considering that API, application, programming interface. By taking with the one programming, having with the interface between two different applications. That is how the provided terminology is API. Okay. So now by this, what will happen? This Google team will take care about. This Google team will take care about in having with one particular ID in URL here. What Google team will be doing is, according to the respective company, they will generate one particular ID in the URL here. Because of that, most of the time, you can cross-check with the URL related to Uber, Ola, whatever it can be. Once you provide the URL, next step, you will be able to see one particular ID in the URL. Because what this Google team will be doing is, the one they have been providing the service in the URL, because the service has been provided from the internet only. Simple understanding, guys. Let's take your mobile. In your mobile, without having mobile data, can you go with that working with the Ola or Uber apps? No. Without having mobile data, is that you can work with your Zomato or other things? No, because these particular things, it's mandatory of mobile data has been required. That means internet has been required, because from the internet only the connectivity has been done between two different applications. So that is what the mobile data is mandatory to work with these applications. As a best example, in your mobile, you will have calculator. Do we require mobile data to work with calculator? No. You will have contacts app will be there. Do we require mobile data to open the contact apps? No here. Those are individual products here. But considering with the Uber, that is one application only which has been having the connectivity with other application also. Because of that, it is mandatory that you will be taking with internet. So that internet you will be taking with through URL. So when you are taking with through URL, so that particular ID they will be provided. So this is what first understanding the concept of API. In simple, an interface between two different applications. If you want to understand in a very simple way, the concept of API is interface between two different applications. If you want to understand in a very easy way, the best example, you guys are very well knowing about this manufacturing industry. Take an example of Maruti industry, the car manufacturing. If we take Maruti industry, is that the Maruti industry is manufacturing the whole vehicle? If we take Maruti industry, is that Maruti industry, is that industry has been taking care about manufacturing with the whole vehicle of each and every part? No. What exactly those guys are doing? What exactly those guys are doing? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Knowing about Maruti or Hyundai, BMW, whatever it can be. All the manufacturing companies, what exactly they are doing? Uh-huh. Engine they will develop. Uh-huh. Any of the manufacturing company, they are not developing anything by their own. Just they are coming up with only design. Any of the manufacturing company, just they are taking care about in coming up with the design and features. What is the design need to be done? What are the features need to be provided? Only these two things, they will come up the plan. According to the design, according to that vehicle design, engine, they will purchase from the different company. That body cover, they will purchase from the different company. The seats, they will purchase from the different company. Tires, they will purchase from the different company. Each and every part, they will purchase from the different company. According to their design, they will make assembling it. That is what exactly the manufacturing companies are doing it. So that is what the exact formula of the success of any manufacturing company. You can see that the growth of manufacturing industry. If we look into the growth of the manufacturing industry, from the day one of manufacturing industry came into the market till now, always you are able to see the growth only. There is no concept of you will be saying that industry, the market has been less down. Even if we look into the pandemic situation also, the small, manufacturing industry is in the very high only. Always the manufacturing, that market has been increasing it, not like decreasing it. The reason, the success of manufacturing industry, their formula is, if we look into this Maruti company, is that they are manufacturing all the parts? No. What exactly they are doing? Assembling it. They are purchasing tires from the different company. The tires company will get benefited. They are purchasing the body cover from the different company. That company will get benefited. Engine from the different company. That company will get benefited. So all these companies will get benefited. Along with that, these manufacturing, for example, of Maruti industry, as they are not manufacturing it, just they are assembling it. Within a less time, they can design one vehicle, they can manufacturing one vehicle. Their time also has been saving it. These people also benefited. This is like in a mutual understanding business, and both the people has been benefited. So all the people has been working together, and that is how the market has been increasing. In case of only Maruti industry has been decided to manufacturing all the things by their own, then definitely success will not be there here. That is what the main formula to get success in the business. It can be manufacturing industry or health industry, any industry. It's not like the only industry. That is what the success of in your lives also. You guys are doing the practice. Doing the practice? Doing or not? Or forgot to practice it? So when you are doing with the practice, it's not like only you are doing the practice. Make sure that your friend also doing with the practice. That is what most important. That is what most important. At the time of your friend has been also doing the practice, they will get an issue. Try to resolve that issue. Indirectly, your knowledge will get improved. Your communication will improve. So both the people will get benefited here. That is the only one concept, the only one formula to get success in the life. No, sir, only my program need to work. My friend program need to give error. I will not resolve error. You never get success here. So that is what the only logic. You can think about it. That is what the only success of the formula. So that is how need to be done. That is the only one reason why all the manufacturing industries are getting with the success here. Now, the same formula, slowly, it has been started applying in the IT industry. What manufacturing industries has been applied? Nowadays, the same formula has been started applying in the IT industry also. That is how nowadays we are able to say that the IT market has been increasing. You are getting the news like this many people are getting the layoff. That is a totally different process. But if you look into the growth of IT market, so nowadays, once this concept, I mean, this technology, previously this concept is not there in the IT, but now technology has been improved by having these kind of things. That is how now you are able to see that the IT market also has been growing it, not like taking into the very less market here. So because nowadays, if we look into any of the IT market, not like need to be get start all the software from the scratch. Previously, everything need to be get developed from the scratch only. But now not required to get started to have all the business from the scratch here. The best example, you guys are able to take your mobile. In your mobile, you are able to see weather information. Able to see weather information? Weather information. You are able to see that mobile company is different. The weather, that company is different. The mobile company approaching that particular company, asking the service related to the weather. They are taking one API. That API has been connected to the mobile software. So by that, both the people got a mutual benefited. The best example, take with the cricket live score. Cricket live score. What is the official website for the cricket live score? Official website. Crickbuzz. That Crickinfo, Crickbuzz. That is the official website. But nowadays, is that you want to open only that website for the live score? No, right? Just if you open the mobile in the home screen itself, automatically you are getting here. Not required to open that website and seeing the live score here. So that means Crickinfo, that Crickbuzz official website. From that company, remaining all these mobile companies are taking the service of that, it has been integrated. So not required to develop any of the activities from the scratch level. That is how nowadays you guys are able to see the lot of new businesses has been came into the picture. Before Google Map, there is no Ola, there is no Uber, all these things. Once Google Map has been came into the picture, just they got connected with the Google Map and all the new business has been came into the picture. So that is how in this particular current market, your IT job also not required to do any hard work here. Just little bit you have to think in a very smart way. Very easily you can do your IT job. Previously, developer job, it's mandatory that need to write all the code from the very scratch level. But nowadays, not required to write the code from the very scratch level. All the inbuilt things are there. Just you have to collect all the things and you have to take with integration here. So that is how the IT has been increased. That technology has been came into the picture here. So rather than purchasing with the product, we are just purchasing with the service here. So that is how your IT market has been increasing. That is how nowadays you are able to see lot of new softwares has been came into the picture here. Like you heard about DevOps, Azure, or taking with a lot of new things has been came into the picture, because now the market is working with just taking with the integrations only. So that is how the IT market has been always will be having in a growth only. No worries about IT market will be getting with the down here, as this kind of technologies and this kind of futures has been came into the picture. There is no concept of the market will get slowed down. So just it will be increasing only. So nothing to worried about the IT market, but the people has to be more comfortable with the technical things here. So technically, you need to be get more comfortable. That is what you guys need to be get take care of it. So that is what your practice need to be done. So this is what the whole concept of which you will be taking with API. So meaning of API? Application Programming Interface. It is just an interface between two different applications. Okay, that is overview. That is a concept of API. That part is okay. But our requirement, what is our requirement? What is our requirement? API testing. Our requirement is API testing. So what exactly need to be done as part of API testing? As part of API testing, what exactly need to be done? Let's see here. For that, as part of API testing, the one you will be taking with URL only. URL is required. So the one you will be taking with URL, because you are working with the internet, that you will be taking with URL. Now, the main concept of API testing, from the URL, by taking the help of URL, you have to send a request to the server. With the help of the URL, you have to send request to the server. The request has been successful or not, need to be tested. The request has been successful to the server or not, need to be tested. At the same time, we need to be get. At the same time, we need to be get response. One is taking with the request, another one taking with response. Need to be get sending with the request and then getting with response. So here, whenever you guys are opening the Uber app, from the mobile you will open Uber only. So indirectly, that Uber app is connecting with your Google Map here. So with the help of an URL, this Uber has been sending with the request to the Google Map. From the Google Map, you are getting with the response. So the concept of API testing, the concept of API testing, you have to take care about sending with the request. You have to take care about sending with the request to the server and then taking care about getting with the response from the server. So as part of API testing, as part of API testing, we have to test that request and response has been successful or not. Request and response has been successful or not. So if we just consider this particular API testing, as part of API testing, you have to take care about sending with the request and then getting the response has been correct or not. But when you are sending the request, getting the response from the URL you are sending, there is no concept of user interface. There is no concept of user interface. As there is no concept of user interface, as there is no concept of user interface, as there is no UI, how we can understand that? How we can understand that that particular request has been successful or not, or how we can understand that particular response has been successful or not. To confirm that, to confirm that request and response, to confirm that request and response has been success or not, we are taking with the help of status code. So we are taking with the help of status code. So don't be confused here. As simple, we have to take care about doing API testing. As part of API testing, we have to send the request and need to be get response. For sending with the request and then getting the response, you're taking URL perfectly okay. But as a user, how we can confirm, how we can test it, that request has been successful and response has been successful. For that, for that, you will be taking with the help of status code. So when you are doing the testing, when you are doing with the testing, if you are able to see, when you are doing with the testing, if you are able to see the status code is provided as 200. If you are able to see the status code has been provided 200, then you can confirm that that particular request and response has been okay, or we can consider that successful. If you are able to see the status code provided as a 200, what you can consider? Request and response has been okay, or we can consider successful. Right. So which you will be taking with, which you will be considering that okay or successful. Okay. Next, assume that you got 201. In the output, in the result, you got the status code 201. In case of 201, we can mention that request is created. Request has been created to the server. If you are able to see 201, we can consider that request has been created to the server. Similar to that, you will be taking with 400. If you are taking with 400, you can consider that bad request. You can consider that bad request. And then taking with 401. Taking with 401. That particular 401, you can mention that unauthorized. So that particular 401, you can consider that unauthorized. So this is how for each and every particular status code, you will be able to see one particular meaning. Based on that status code, we can understand that the request and response has been correct or not. That is how sometime you guys can refer any of the web applications. Any of the web applications, if it is not working on the web page, you will able to see some code. So that code, based on that particular code, we can understand that what exactly that particular issue here. So there are lot of status codes will be there. Lot of status code will be there. So as part of doing with the API testing in a very detail, we need to take care about all that particular respective status code. But for now, you can just look into that. Just an understanding, considering that 200, meaning of 200, okay or successful. Meaning of 201, request has been created. Meaning of 400, bad request. Meaning of 401, unauthorized here. So by having these particular status code, we can confirm that request and response has been correct or not. Okay. Now, while working Selenium, while working Selenium, we need to be take care about different kind of Selenium methods, or taking with the Java, working with different kind of Java methods. Similar to that, while working API also, while working API also, you will be working different type of API methods. Selenium, how you are utilizing Selenium related methods. Java, how you are utilizing Java related methods. Similar to that, this particular API also, there are lot of API methods are there. We can consider that API methods, or we can consider that API request. We can consider that API methods, or we can consider that API requests here. Lot of activities will be there. Lot of activities will be there, but in simple. Lot of activities will be there, but for now, the regular API methods, considering that taking with get method, the very regular API methods, considering that taking with get method, and then taking with post method. One will be taking with get method, and then taking with post method, and then taking with put method, and then taking with delete method. The very regular methods, the very regular methods while working any API. The very regular methods while working any API, whatever it can be, any API, whatever API you are working, whatever API you are working, you may work with any API, you may work with any API, you will be taking with get method, and then post method, and then put method, and then delete method. Now consider get method. Consider get method. Functionality of get method. Functionality of get method. Considering that read only, sending with the request and getting with response. Get method, read only, sending the request and getting the response. This particular get method, this particular get method, read only, sending with the request and then getting with response. And then we got post method. Post method, consider that to create new request. Post method to create new request. Post method to create new request. One will be taking with get method, and then taking with post method, and then taking with put method. Put method, consider that to update request. Put method it will be updating with request. Put method it will be updating with request. And then delete method. Delete method, considering that to delete request. Considering that to delete request. So very regularly, there is a chance of, there is a chance of need to be get working with this particular methods. The one you will consider get method, post method, put method, delete method. The meaning of get method? Meaning of get method, read only, sending with the request and getting with response. So functionality of post method to create new request. Put method to update request. Delete method, delete request. You may work with any kind of API. You may work with any kind of API. You can work with any kind of API followed with the same. You can work with any kind of API followed with the same here. You can work with any kind of API, you will be followed with the same. I mean, there are different kind of APIs are there. In a market, we got different kind of APIs are there. You may work with any kind of API. You may work with any kind of API. The concept will be the same. Okay. Now, see that. Considering that, taking with the one API, an example, so which you will be mentioning about taking with SOAP UI. The one API you will be taking with SOAP UI. So that one API name. Similar to that, it will be taking with Jersey, and similar to that, it will be taking with Postman, and similar to that, it will be taking with Rest Assured. So there are different type of APIs are there. There are different type of APIs are there. The one you will be taking with SOAP UI, and then Jersey, and then taking Postman, and then taking with Rest Assured. So there are a number of APIs are there. So here you may work with any of the API. You may work with any of the API. You will be. You may work with any of API. You will be working with these particular methods, considering the get method, post method, put method, and then taking with delete method. So this is how we have an options of considering the meaning of API, and then taking with the status code, and taking with API methods. So we need to be get understand. We need to be get understand how exactly we can send the request, how we can get the response, and how we can utilize these particular API methods here. So let's look into that. To work with all these things, to get work with all these things, the main important one, URL. To get work with all these particular things, the main important one, you will be taking with URL. So we need to be get understand. We need to be get understand the more information. We need to be get understand the more information taking with, which you will be taking with considering the URL. So let's understand. So what exactly taking with this particular URL? So let's understand what exactly mean by that particular URL. What are the respective things? Whenever you are working with, whenever you are working with this particular API testing, URL will be playing a very important role. URL will be playing a very important role. So need to be get understand what exactly mean by that, and how we can utilize of that. Take with the heading is URL. Take with the heading. Take with the heading URL. So take with the heading is URL. Meaning of URL. Meaning of URL. We have any different names here. The one we can say that unique resource locator. Unique resource locator. Or we can say that uniform resource locator. We can say that unique resource locator, or we can say that uniform resource locator. Okay. The one we can consider that unique resource locator, or we can consider that uniform resource locator. Similar to that, you got one more option, taking with URI. Similar to URL, you will be taking with URI. Meaning of URI? Unique resource identifier. Unique resource identifier. The meaning of URI, the meaning of URI, unique resource identifier. Unique resource identifier. Okay. After that, mention that two types. Mention that two types. The one, the one. Mention that two types here. The one it will be taking with. The one it will be taking with base URL. The one it will be taking with base URL, and then it will be taking with absolute URL. The one you will be taking with base URL, and then you will be taking with absolute URL. There are considering the two types of URL. One you will be taking with base URL, another one you will be taking with absolute URL. Considering the base URL, considering the base URL, saying that which is constant, which is constant, and then absolute URL, considering that whole URL. So the base URL, which is constant, considering the base URL, and then taking with absolute URL, considering that the whole URL. Okay. After that, after that, we need to be get understand some more terminologies. When you're taking with the URL, when you're taking with the URL, we need to be get understand some more terminologies in the URL. Taking that, the one you will be mentioning about in that particular one, you will be taking with HTTP. The one you will be taking with HTTP. Meaning of HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Another one, HTTPS. Another one, HTTPS. Meaning of S? That S. Secured, security. The meaning of that particular S, considering that secured. Okay. After that, after that, which you will be taking with mentioning about, taking with question mark symbol. The meaning of question mark. The meaning of question mark, which you will be taking with search query. The meaning of question mark, which you will be taking with search query. Okay. After that, after that, which you will be taking with the one you will be taking with question mark, and then taking with Q, taking with Q, considering that search parameter, considering that search parameter, which you will be taking with considering that search parameter. So one you will be taking with that particular respective question mark, and then taking with Q, that you will be taking with search parameter. Okay. After that, so the one you will be taking with, the one you will be taking with question mark, and then taking with search query, Q, search parameter, and then taking with equal. Meaning of equal? Assigning, same. So the meaning of equal, considering that assigning. The meaning of equal, assigning, and then taking with plus symbol, considering that concatenation. Taking with the plus symbol, that will be taking with concatenation. So whenever you are taking with, so whenever you are considering this particular API testing, the URL will be playing. The URL will be playing a very important role here. If you want to be just cross check on it, if you want to cross check that, if you want to be get understand the exact difference between functional testing and then taking with non-functional testing. Now you can see that which I will be taking with URL. This I will be taking with google.com. Now we can see that this is one particular URL. Now what I will be doing is which I will be taking with. Now considering that I'm just typing taking with Selenium. Now you can see this particular URL. If I'm just taking with this particular URL, you will be able to see lot of information in the URL. In the URL, you will be able to see lot of information. Now you can see that considering with all these particular things, if we consider this particular one, google.com, considering that google.com, nothing but base URL. When you refer any URL, you will be able to see some constant part that you will be taking with base URL. Okay. After that, this whole thing, the whole thing, the whole thing, you will be considering that absolute URL. In the URL, whatever the part is constant, that you will be taking with base URL, and the whole thing you will be considering the absolute URL. Able to see the question mark symbol? Meaning of question mark? Search query. And then you will be able to see considering that queue. Meaning of the queue? Search parameter. So that is what we are searching for, taking with Selenium here. So that is how, I mean, with the help of URL, you are informing to the server. In that particular google.com server, it has to search the parameter of Selenium. For the parameter of Selenium, whatever the results are matching it, whatever the results are matching it, need to be get assigned all that particular results here. So from that particular server code, the parameter of Selenium, whatever the results are matching it, all that particular results will be getting displayed. If you want to cross check that, now here I got entered Selenium in the text box here. I got entered Selenium in the text box here. Now what I will be doing is, I'm not entering the data in the Selenium. I'm not entering the data in the Selenium. Now we can see in the URL. So meaning of queue, search parameter. So I'm taking the modifications, I'm testing with the URL. So here I'm giving with the option taking with testing job. Now we can see here in the parameter what we provided, testing job. Did I type in the text box? Did we type this testing job in the text box? No, we provided in URL. Now let me click on enter in a place of Selenium. What you got? Testing job. Did we enter testing job in the text box? No, we entered in URL. So that information is reflecting to your application. So as part of API testing, so that is how you are looking into that. You are sending with the request to the server. From there you need to be get with the response here. So that is what you are taking care about, the main part of API testing. So that is what we need to be get, look into that. So working with this particular respective API testing, so that will be looking into that. So next we'll need to understand this one-tier architecture, two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture. So that concept we'll be discussing in a very detail. Tomorrow you will get the clear picture of why these many testings required. As only functional testing is there, why we can continue only that? In a market, why we require different types of testing, so that you will understand. And then we'll be taking with this particular Postman and we'll do the API testing. After that, we'll be taking with rest assured and we'll take with that API testing. After that, we'll take with database, and finally we'll be taking with performance. So a lot of all that activities need to be done. So step by step, we will understand about all those things here. So take care about all the things and take care about the practice in doing the preparation for exam. Automation exam. When is the exam? Sunday. So be prepared for that particular exam also. Okay. So please take care about your practice. Carry on. Thank you.